Hey, good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Great to have you along this morning. Big news conference in Sioux Falls yesterday. So we're going to dive into the big stories here as we get underway. Thanks so much for joining us. Here we go. Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Really great to have you along. There was a big news conference in Sioux Falls yesterday, and I watched it at the entire thing. Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenick, Sioux Falls Police Chief John Toom. They had a downtown business leader. It's a family that loves downtown Sioux Falls and has their business downtown. And the issue of panhandling in downtown Sioux Falls has become just an overwhelming issue. So more on that in a moment and over the course of the morning. That really is a big story this morning. So let's touch on the big national stories first. ABC News says that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have agreed to meet in a debate on September 10th. So this came after Trump held a news conference yesterday, and I'll talk about that in more detail. So they will be debating on ABC. Trump had said yesterday, I think it's very important to have debates. I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight. And so Kamala Harris has agreed to participate in the ABC debate, and there's speculation that she may not participate. Trump announced 3 yesterday, and you may have heard some of this on Clay and Buck. That's when Donald Trump was holding his news conference yesterday. It was during their program, and I heard a portion of that then yesterday. And Trump saying 3 debates that he proposed, one on Fox News, one on ABC, and forgive me, I don't remember off the top of my head where the other was, but 3 different debates. Was it CNN? I don't recall. But the ABC News debate, they have agreed that will be on September 10th. But Kamala Harris has not agreed to any additional one because Trump, again, he suggested 3. And so a reporter asked Kamala Harris, will you be participating in all 3? And she said, I'm looking forward to it. And then she pivoted to what she is committed to, which is 1 debate. And she said, I've always been on record. I'm looking forward to debating Donald Trump. And we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. She just drives me nuts. I mean, her out there, the Kamala Harris campaign. Oh yeah, if Donald Trump will accept it, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And I thought, boy, and of course the lackeys in the legacy media, they lap that stuff up, And I'm sitting there going, Trump has been talking about debates for weeks. Where have you been? If he'll debate. Of course, Donald Trump's going to debate. I mean, this is just laughable. So anyway, September 10th is the date, but it does not look like there will be any additional debates. We'll see. Now, perhaps that'll change. Also, I talked at length yesterday and shared news regarding the military biography of Tim Walz, Kamala Harris running mate, that has now been updated. This is a piece from the Washington Examiner saying that the campaign of Kamala Harris has quietly updated Governor Tim Walz's online biography after Republicans slammed its representation, and because it said that he was a retired command sergeant major in the Army National Guard himself. He was not a command sergeant major. He did not retire as a command sergeant major. He in the Minnesota National Guard, that was a big story yesterday. The Minnesota National Guard said, No, he's retired as a master sergeant. So now apparently the Harris campaign is very quietly changing that online. So Donald Trump held the news conference yesterday, and he was talking about debates. He proposed 3 debates. And so he proposed one on Fox News for September 4th, a September 10th debate on NBC, and a September 25th debate on ABC. And that latter is the one that Kamala Harris then agreed to, apparently. So no word on whether she would accept the September 4th on Fox and the September 10th on NBC. So as of right now, doesn't sound like those will necessarily come to pass. Also, so Donald Trump, I want to get into that a little bit as we talk about. He also talked about Kamala and the lack of news conferences that she's held. And so Trump said at one point, she can't do a news conference, he said. And he said Harris wasn't smart enough to do it. He's goading her. I mean, seriously, he's absolutely goading her and trying, she's not smart enough to do it. Goading her and trying to, get her to hold a news conference. And Trump said she's barely competent, he said. Whether or not that's going to work remains to be seen. But Trump also was talking about both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as radicals. He said of Harris, she destroyed San Francisco during her time as the city's district attorney. Also criticized her record on the border. I just continue to think that's an immensely important issue for many Americans. And Trump said of Harris and Walz, the two of them together are part of the radical left, he said. He also contended, and I heard portion of this yesterday, he said the presidency was taken away from Joe Biden at one point. And he said, he made reference to the fact that Biden had received 14 million votes during the Democratic primary process. And yet Harris, how many votes has she received? So Trump said, he recognized, it was kind of odd that he's speaking out in defense of the president. And he said, I'm not a fan of his, as you probably noticed, he said. Also, I don't know, some of these, they do 5 takeaways. And then, the 5th of this is a piece from the Hill. The 5th of the takeaways is I go, really? That's what you took away from this? Seriously? Okay, forget it. So Donald Trump, pushing Kamala Harris. Will she do a news conference? Now, she may. She has been criticized, and this has become a big issue for the Harris campaign. And she said before boarding Air Force 2, I've talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month. So sometime this month, we don't know when, but she's saying she has told her team she wants an interview sometime this month. And you've got to wonder, is that the goading from Donald Trump that has pushed her into that? I've got to believe it is, because I think if she were left to her own designs, she would do nothing. And then Donald Trump got exasperated by a question during his press conference yesterday because they were talking about the size of Harris and the size of her crowds, which have been in the tens of thousands. Several events that she's done, tens of thousands. And Trump said, "Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? 14,000 that were there. But that's a typical Trump reaction. He said, if I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. Also, a big story this morning. Local Pennsylvania police officer says he told the Secret Service to secure the building where this is the building from which shots were fired at Donald Trump and a man was killed. And so the footage was recorded by the body cam of a Butler Township police officer, suggests that the shooter may have used a wooden pallet then to climb up on the building. And I watched that video and you see there are wooden pallets stacked against the building, and it would have been easy then to get a foothold. And these are slatted pallets, so you could literally climb it like a ladder until you could step on top of it enough then to boost yourself up onto the roof. So the footage is out there, and one of the officers said, I effing told them they need to post the effing guys over here, the Secret Service. I told them that effing Tuesday. I told them to effing post guys over here. So you had local police saying they had told them on Tuesday, the rally was on a Saturday, to post people over there. I just think there's a lot going on there. And so that body cam footage is out there. And one of the officers the footage was taken from two officers from the Butler Township Police Department who tried to stop the shooter. And remember, one officer was on his way out there when the shooter pointed a gun at him, and he had a choice, either get shot or let himself drop to the ground, which he did. He let himself drop to the ground, and he could be heard saying, F, this is close, bro. Dude, he turned around on me, the officer said. Yeah, pointed a gun at him. So that continues to be a big story. Now, also this morning, I want to share portions of a news conference with you. In fact, I want to share some major portions of this news conference yesterday that Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenaiken and Sioux Falls Police Chief John Toom talked about people in Sioux Falls who are very generous people. I don't think that's any news to you. We've got folks in Sioux Falls that are very generous people. They're making an appeal to people to stop giving money to panhandlers. You know, there are a lot of worthy causes that are out there. And they, in fact, spoke yesterday in front of a room full of, of such agencies. So there are a lot of agencies out there to help people. And there are people who are legitimately homeless, in need of help, but wanting to lift themselves up. We're talking about a panhandling element that is very content to spend their money on liquor, what it boils down to. And we've got residents of Sioux Falls who are totally, in my opinion, enabling that by giving money to panhandlers. So again, there are a lot. If you want to give money, I totally encourage it. I feel a calling to share what I have with others in the community, and I mean locally in the community. I feel very much calling to do that. So it's not about saying keep your money to yourself and no. Just don't give money to panhandlers. This is what the city is saying. So they held a news conference yesterday, and it was probably over about 30 minutes long. You had the mayor speaking for 10 or 15 minutes. Sioux Falls Police Chief John Toom. They had a Sioux Falls downtown business leader talking about this in the news conference yesterday. And the mayor read a handful of messages that he's received regarding incidents that are happening, and primarily a lot of this is happening downtown. And the mayor said that part of what's happened is that opportunists are taking advantage of the city. And he said the same thing's going on in Rapid City, because he and the mayor of Rapid City have obviously they're visiting about issues that their respective cities are having and collaborating and comparing notes, and the same thing's going on in Rapid City. And the mayor said this is not a policing issue. He said we can't look at the police to fix this. They are dealing with symptoms of a problem. And then he said it's also not the job of shelters or the nonprofits. And they said it's a one Sioux Falls issue. So this is all of us. This is a one Sioux Falls issue. Everybody needs to come together, and we've got to work together. But the issue, now again, in the interim, they're appealing to people and saying, I didn't hear anything. I listened to the entire news conference. They didn't say anything about not giving. That's not the message. The message is, by all means give. Just do not give to panhandlers, because what's happened is this problem has just absolutely exploded. It has absolutely exploded. You've got people who are, and they talked about this, businesses, especially in downtown Sioux Falls, who are banding together. You've got people who are walking, volunteers that are walking around. Have you seen the people in red in downtown Sioux Falls? Now, I work in downtown Sioux Falls. Our Kello studios are located, in the heart of downtown Sioux Falls. And I love downtown Sioux Falls. I had lunch in downtown Sioux Falls yesterday. And in fact, it was such a beautiful day yesterday. Katie and I were having lunch, and, so we were right by, they had the windows open and the breeze was coming. It was a beautiful day. And as Katie and I were watching this news conference last evening, she said, I saw those people while we were having lunch. I wondered, they're walking by in the red t-shirts, So you may have seen them in downtown Sioux Falls. And it's all meant to, for businesses downtown. They're seeing a reduction in their amount of business because of this panhandling element that is downtown. It has become a really big issue. Now, I reached out to the mayor last evening and dropped him an email, and the mayor is always very responsive and very courteous. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. He responded, we're going to get him on the program, not today, but we'll get him on the program soon to talk about this issue. I want to be able to have a conversation with him about this. And this is not, now I will just tell you, as I was watching this news conference yesterday, just the way my mind works is, what can I do? What can Kello do? What can we do to try to help with this problem? And I think certainly our company is committed to providing resources. I've worked for a terrific company in Midwest Communications. They're really a wonderful company. And we have been encouraged to look for events and, charities and things that we could get behind. And we just had that conversation this week, and then we see this happen. So I very much, personally, I love Sioux Falls. I'm from Sioux Falls. I feel very compelled to do what I can to try to help Sioux Falls. But this issue of giving money to panhandlers, we've got to stop doing it. And again, the city is not saying stop being generous. They're just saying do not give money to panhandlers, because what they're doing, that money is going, they're spending it on, bottom shelf liquor and vodka in particular. That's where the money's going. So when you're giving money to a panhandler, you're fueling, you may be fueling terrible addictions. So if you really want to make a difference, there are ways to do that, but giving money to panhandlers is not one of them. So I'm going to share audio from that news conference yesterday in much more detail. We'll do that coming up this morning after 7. Thanks so much for letting me join you. It's always great to have you along. And of course, we'll have the usual fun and games going on this morning. We've got a chance for you to win tickets to see Styx and Foreigner. They're coming to the Denny on Wednesday, August 28th, so keep listening for your chance to win those tickets. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Weekday mornings at 9. Oh, that panhandling issue has just become a big one. And I work downtown, and I do a little, I love eating at restaurants and so on downtown. I to have seen the explosion of downtown Sioux Falls, over the years, especially under the last several mayors that we've had. Just starting with, I think, with Mayor Munson, and then continuing, and now under Mayor Tenhaken, a lot of growth in Sioux Falls, downtown Sioux Falls, more people living in downtown Sioux Falls, all great things, all great things. I'm not one of those who's anti-growth. Hey, we got, pining for days in the 1980s. That's not me. I love seeing what's happened to our community, but not when it comes to panhandling. And it's really going to take people, having the courage to say no to panhandlers. You ever done it? I have, because I know there's no need for me to feel guilty. And I think that's some of it. I think folks in the Midwest have got this guilt thing going on all the time. I don't feel guilty when I drive by a panhandler or refuse to give to a panhandler, because I know what I'm doing with my resources. I know how much money I'm giving to charity, and I'm giving it in a targeted way to groups that can make a difference. You know what I mean? Rather than just giving it out on a street corner. You might as well flush your money down the toilet. Seriously. Flushing your money down the toilet would be better. It would be. Anyway, that's a big issue. Got news coming up here in a moment for you. Here's the forecast update for the Sioux Falls area. Northwest breeze today, remaining cooler than normal. High at 71. Lows not here for 50 under a mainly cool sky. I got fired up over this issue. On Sunday, a high of 75. Chance of rain Monday, high 77. From the Storm Center at Killerland TV. And in Sioux Falls at 6:30, it's partly cloudy and 52. Oh, it's just been beautiful weather this week. Almost, it's feeling fall-like this week, which makes me worry. Oh, man, we're not going to have an early winter, are we? I know it's only August, but that's how my mind works. We got Fox News headlines, local headlines coming up. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello.
I'm Chris Foster.
I think it's very important to have debates.
And former President Trump and Vice President Harris agreed to debate September 10th on ABC, which is when Trump and President Biden were going to debate again before the president dropped out of the race. The former president has suggested holding 3 debates.
I'm happy to have that conversation about an additional debate.
A conversation to be had after, Harris says, the first debate next month. There's flash flooding in South Carolina. What's left of Tropical Storm Debbie's moving up the East Coast through the Mid-Atlantic and New England today and tomorrow morning.
We are going to be looking at a huge threat for flooding once again. And this time around, it's going to be in areas throughout central PA, upstate New York, moving into maybe the leading edge of Vermont as the remnants kind of takes off into southern Canada.
Fox Weather's Keanu Lewis. The highest tornado risk today is in New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. Stock futures slightly higher ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time is 6:31. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Tom Rooney. A Southwest Minnesota man is headed to federal prison for more than 19 years on child porn charges. 23-year-old Mason Mensing of Elmore pleaded guilty to trying to coax a minor Sioux Falls girl into sending him nude images on the internet.
Wow.
2 townhouses were destroyed in a fire in Mitchell late yesterday. All of the residents escaped without serious injury, but one resident was hospitalized for evaluation. Fire officials are still looking for the cause. Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tenhaken says word is out about the generosity of city residents. Professional panhandlers have heard about it, and so have officials in other cities who send some of their homeless to Sioux Falls.
We also know, anecdotally, that people from around the state, even with their own state, send their hard-to-house populations to Sioux Falls, the Rapid City. If you're a nuisance population in Huron, there's no services for you in Huron, they're going to get you to Sioux Falls somehow.
Now, one of the biggest complaints at City Hall is the concentration of panhandlers and homeless people creating problems in the downtown district. We'll hear about some of those problems next hour. Great Bear Ski Lodge will become home to a major music festival starting next summer. Country music sensation Sam Hunt is the first headliner to be announced. Washington Pavilion CEO Darren Smith says it will feature a wide variety of music.
It's going to be mixed genre on purpose. So we're going to have country, we're going to have rock, we're going to have pop, folk, rhythm and blues, hip hop, you name it.
The Pavilion and Great Bear are co-sponsoring the 2-day event, which will be held next July. And a pair of 2-run homers powered the Sioux Falls Canaries to an 11-7 win over Lake Country last night. The Birds are now 44-33 on the year. They welcome Milwaukee for a 4-game series at the Birdcage starting at 5 this evening. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Tom Rooney.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Partly cloudy skies today for the Sioux Falls area and remaining cool for this time of the year. High temperature to 71, northwest wind at 10 to 15. Tonight, mainly clear, low around 50. Tomorrow's high rebounding to 74 under a partly cloudy sky. A few more clouds around on Sunday, high 75. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm meteorologist Brian Carstens.
The Sioux Empire's most trusted name in news. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9 and Kello.com.
Imagine your PC was secretly tracking everything you do, logging your photos, emails, even your location, and sending it all to your jealous ex. There's software that does just that. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro. It's called Stalkerware, and here's how it works. Someone sneaks it onto your device. Then it quietly collects all your data and sends it to a remote server where that person can access it all. Some stalkerware can even activate your device's microphone or camera. The worst part, you might not even know it's there. But there are clues. You spot an app you didn't download. Maybe your data usage is through the roof for no apparent reason. You could also be getting strange notifications or logs you didn't create. Those are red flags. To get rid of stalkerware, uninstall any software that obviously you didn't install or don't recognize. If you're still worried, do a complete factory reset. It wipes out everything, including any hidden software. Just remember to back up your important stuff first. If you're not tech ahead, you'll be left tech behind. Get my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds. offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed at less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8...
I think of things while I'm on the air that I have to do this. I have to do this.
That's oracle.com.
So I jot notes to myself so I don't forget.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Anderson picture and combination windows. Beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
Let's ABC Seamless.
At Harold's Photo in August, you won't want to miss 20% off all back-to-school items, 20% off canvas prints, and 20% off custom framing service. Don't wait on these August deals. Learn more at haroldsphoto.com.
Are you worried about your aging parents? Are they safe? Are they happy? Are they lonely? It's a big issue. You know, it's not easy watching your parents get older. You want to make sure they have the best retirement possible. And that's why I recommend Washington Crossing Retirement Community. I've shared their story for a long time because Washington Crossing feels like home for the people who live there. Washington Crossing provides maintenance-free living, means that mom and dad can focus then on enjoying their retirement hobbies, fun, and not on chores around the house. And the best part, Washington Crossing is a very vibrant community. Folks are friendly. There are all kinds of activities going on, and you won't have to worry because Washington Crossing has also got a wonderful staff that's available, making sure that your parents are safe and comfortable. It's Washington Crossing Retirement Community, and it's where your parents can live their retirement to the fullest, and you can finally breathe easy. Discover peace of mind for your family at Washington Crossing. Give them a call today and schedule a tour. Go take a look at it. See everything they've got to offer. Call Todd today at 605-271-9273. You'll be talking to Todd. That's 605-271-9273. Washington Crossing Retirement Community, premier retirement living at a great value.
Entertaining talk and news when it happens at your fingertips.
Download the free Kello AM app and listen wherever you take your phone.
With just one touch, you can keep your finger on the pulse of South Dakota. The app is free.
6:39. Partly cloudy and 52 currently at Kello. Well, let's give you a chance to win a couple of evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park. Let's open up our phone lines. And caller number 7 at 605-336-1320. Caller 7 will receive 2 evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park. Call now, 605-336-1320. And caller number 7 winning those 2 evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park. 1 ticket, unlimited slides and rides, 5 miles west of the Empire Mall.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag.
I get frustrated
News
with
and views
myself.
from Belf's News Gap.
All right, let's take a look at stories that are trending this morning. Pennsylvania police have released new body cam footage of the Trump assassination attempt. So this is footage coming from the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, coming from Butler police. They're the one who have released this. And the new video showing the moment that police officers saw Donald Trump's shooter up on the roof before dropping down after the shooter had pointed a gun at him. So that video is out there, and more on that later this morning. Also trending this morning, Donald Trump held a news conference yesterday, says he's agreed to 3 debates in September. So this was during a news conference that Trump held at Mar-a-Lago, and he said he wants 3 debates with Kamala Harris. We have to set the record straight, Trump said. And he poked her. I mean, he poked her a little bit because he said he called her barely competent and, really kind of seemed to be challenging her then to debate. And she accepted one of them. She accepted an ABC debate, but no word on whether, no response regarding a proposed debate on Fox News and another on NBC. So she has said yes, but only at this point to the debate on ABC. And there are stories that are trending saying she will not agree to the Fox News debate. Forbes, Mediaite, Fox News. Forbes had a story. Trump claims Harris is afraid to face him on Fox News after he backed out of the ABC debate. He didn't back out. They've agreed to it. So he had not backed out. That was, and again, that was a debate, and the time was scheduled. That was a debate between him and President Joe Biden. Well, that debate becomes trash because Biden is no longer running. I mean, at least from my perspective, that debate, put it in the round file as soon as the president decided he was not going to run for re-election. All right, the Harris campaign has also made it an adjustment to Tim Walz's biography because they deleted that he was a retired command sergeant major. He's not a retired command sergeant major. He's a retired sergeant major. And there's a big difference between the two. So the campaign quietly scrubbing that from their materials. So the president gave an interview, and he was talking to CBS's Robert Costa. And the entire interview will be released coming up this weekend. But the president telling Robert Costa that he's concerned as to whether or not there will be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses the election. Well, if Trump loses are we talking about if he were to win, then this, he says, now again, talking about the presidential election, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all in a peaceful transfer of power. Well, I don't know if the president's aware. Donald Trump's not in power right now. What the hell is he talking about? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. I would understand if he were to say, well, if Trump were to win, I am concerned that if Trump becomes president again, that Trump will not give up power. Okay, that would be one thing. That's not what he's saying. He's talking about Trump giving up power now. Does Joe Biden know that he's the president of the United States? I mean, that's just crazy. And of course, the media, they're just lapping it up. They love it. So he doesn't have confidence in a peaceful transition of power. And Trump's like, what? He talked about that yesterday at the Mar-a-Lago press conference. He's like, what is he talking about? Nobody knows, Mr. Trump. No, nobody knows. All right. The campaign of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, reports say they raised $36 million in the first 24 hours after she revealed Tim Walz as her running mate. So $36 million in 24 hours after revealing her running mate. Also, an aide to Kamala Harris said she opposes an Israel arms embargo after meeting with anti-Israel activists. So she opposes an arms embargo on Israel, according to a top advisor. Also, Kamala Harris was doing a rally in Detroit, and she shut down anti-Israel hecklers. So they were heckling the vice president, and I'm speaking. She told the crowd, I am speaking now. She told the detractors, and they were there chanting things like, we won't vote for genocide. Some news coming out of the Olympics. Let's change our focus here for a few moments. The U.S. men's basketball team overcame a 17-point deficit to defeat Serbia. So now they will advance to the gold medal game. This is U.S. men's basketball. And that's great. So quite a comeback. Also, Noah Lyles, he was taken off track in a wheelchair after he had earned the Olympic bronze in the 200-meter final. So he was incredibly pleased with his performance, even though he was unable to earn the gold, because he was trying to win the gold in both the 100 meter and the 200 meters at the same Olympics, and he wasn't able to do it. He did win the bronze, though, and this is after he had tested positive for COVID. That's pretty incredible. Because having known folks who have had COVID, they're not in the mood to compete, especially at an at an Olympic level, So it's pretty incredible. Also, Sydney McLaughlin-Laverne, or is it LeBron? Excuse me, I think I'm mispronouncing that. It's Sydney McLaughlin-Laverne breaks her own world record. She won Olympic gold again in the 400-meter hurdles. So a few stories that are trending from the Olympics. Other news that's also trending. And this is regarding these planned attacks on Taylor Swift. She canceled concerts in Austria as a result of, learning about these, 2 men were arrested. That story has been trending over the last few days. And so she wound up canceling 3 concerts then in Austria as a result of this. And now there are stories saying that the suspect in this foiled attack planned to use knives and explosive devices outside of the stadium. And so they found ISIS and Al-Qaeda material at the home of this second suspect. And again, chemical substances and explosive devices at their homes. Also, U.S. jobless claims dropped to 233,000, beating expectations, signaling strength in the labor market. So the weekly jobless claims falling to 233,000. That was less than expected. And again, experts are saying that's a positive sign for the labor market. Hunter Biden was hired by a Romanian businessman trying to influence U.S. agencies, prosecutors say. So DOJ now claiming that Hunter Biden, hired by a Romanian oligarch to influence U.S. government policy during the Obama administration. So this is according to claims from the special counsel. What that will mean for Hunter Biden, we'll wait and see. Also, there's audio from 2020 showing that Donald Trump had praised Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's response in the George Floyd riots. And the headline, Business Insider, don't be fooled, Business Insider is leftist political drivel. Business Insider, and then, Business Insider. And it's like political claptrap, just packaged under a different name to, Trump and MAGA world are going after Walz for his handling of the 2020 riots. Old audio shows Trump praising it. Also, Tropical Storm Debbie making its second landfall in South Carolina. The death toll due to Tropical Storm Debbie has now risen to 7. So it made a second landfall in South Carolina. Heavy rain expected up the eastern seaboard. Also, a 5.2 magnitude earthquake has hit Southern California. This was earlier this week, Tuesday night. Triggered more than 50 aftershocks. It was a 5.2 magnitude earthquake in California. Also trending this morning, the first defendant in Arizona's fake electors case has accepted a plea deal, received 3 years probation. So this is a Republican activist then becomes the first person to be convicted. 17 other people had been charged in the case, including 10 other Republicans who had signed a certificate saying they were duly elected and qualified electors. And so this was a former president of the of a Republican women group. And she's pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of filing a false document. That story's actually trending. This caught my eye this morning. This is crazy. Times of India's got a story, and there are a number of stories that are trending, but this is a Times of India story. Iraq, to reduce girls' legal marriage age to 9, down to 9 years old at the age of 9. Wow. So this is a bill that could potentially reduce the legal marriage age for girls to 9 and boys to 15. It's been introduced in Iraq's parliament. So it's a draft bill, but it's already trending. The State Department calling on Israel to investigate allegations, they say, of horrific sexual abuse of Palestinian detainees. So that statement came after Israeli media leaked surveillance video that showed Israeli soldiers sexually assaulting a Palestinian detainee. And so now the State Department's calling for Israel to investigate this. And the U.S. saying Israel must investigate swiftly and fully, according to the State Department. There ought to be zero tolerance of any sexual abuse, rape of any detainees, period. Hard to argue with that if that's true. And then finally this morning, the number of abortions has increased slightly. since the Roe ruling was overturned. So this is, I've seen this story actually trending the last few days. National Review's got a story on it. Abortions in the U.S. have increased since the Roe versus Wade ruling was overturned. And they give specific numbers. You can find that story at National Review, ABC News, among others. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. I want to congratulate Ernie Ortega of Sioux Falls. Ernie won those 2 evening passes to Wildwater West Water Park. Ernie's a faithful listener. Thank you so much, Ernie, for being a part of the Greg Belfrage Show. Hope you and your family have a great time out at Wildwater West. And we'll have more tickets for you to win coming up on Monday. Still to come yet this morning. We'll give you a chance to win tickets to see Styx and Foreigner. They're coming to the Denny on Wednesday, August 28th. So your chance to win tickets will be coming up less than about 30 minutes from now. About 30 minutes from now, we'll give you a chance to win those tickets to see Styx and Foreigner. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Need to know. Depend on Kello.
My friend, I want to thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate all of you who watch and follow me on YouTube, so thank you. If you'll hit the like button, I really appreciate it. Makes a big difference. I hope you'll join me for the 4th hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, which will be coming up exclusively on YouTube. That's this morning at 9:30, and I try to run down stories that we've not yet touched on, or I'll touch on stories from this morning in more detail than I have had a chance to do on the radio show. So hope you'll join me then. Otherwise, so long until next time, and may God bless.